this culture of guruism, do you think it'll end anytime soon?
If a serious guy like me is president, I'm telling you the truth.
After watching Matiang'I yesterday on Citizen TV,
it's government to gangsters. In fact, sometimes I call it G to R, government to Ruto. It had nothing to do with government. It's a G to R.
I have no doubt in my mind that he can actually straighten this country. And not just straighten it, but actually fix Kenya.
I mean, you asked me earlier whether I think I am the real deal. I mean, absolutely. Look no further.
But we all know the first step to fixing Kenya is actually jailing William Ruto. So here's the real question. Is Fred Matiang'I the man who can actually take William Ruto to committee?
In fact, it's something I'll do immediately if I became president tomorrow.
But can he really? Or is he so deep in the system through Uhuru Kenyatta that it would actually be impossible for him to do it?
I'll call these people to account, including having some of them locked up.
After watching that explosive interview,
these guys asked for an opportunity to lead the country, not to loot it. The president is elected to govern the country, not to own it.
It's actually now clear in my mind that Matiang'I is the best president that Kenya will never have, even if he actually becomes president. Let me explain. If you love this kind of content, go ahead and like this video and subscribe. Now let's get to the video.
We want to interview someone who wants to be president. Former Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'I. The question is this the man who can take on President William Ruto in the 2027 elections?
So far, the conversation about 2027 has been a very simple one. People are asking one simple question. Who can really fix Kenya? Names like David Maraga, Jimmy Wanjigi, Okiya Omtata have kept coming up. But then, last night something happened.
Welcome to Sunday Live. Thank you. Thank you for welcoming us to the home.
Fred Okengo Matiang'I actually sat down with Jeff Koinange, and suddenly Kenyans started asking a different question. Wait, is this the guy? Because let's be honest, Matiang'I doesn't just talk tough. He looks like someone who can actually run a government.
Nimesikiliza jamaa anaitwa Matiang'I. Ukikaa vizuri umsikilize vizuri, it's somebody has a future. Kufix, like ndio kwa maana sijui wanamuitanga Mr. Fix.
Kenyans, si jana mulijionea the reason why I support Matiang'I. Matiang'I tulianza kumsupport hata kama hajatoka huko US World Bank.
Now, here's where things get uncomfortable. There's a growing belief in Kenya that William Ruto must face accountability. Not just politics, not just speeches, actual accountability.
Let me guarantee you, when another government will come in fact, I think it will be worse. They'll even send Ruto to jail. I'm telling you the truth.
That's what Umtata also said.
Yes, no, it's the reality.
And that raises one brutal question. Can Fred Okengo Matiang'I actually jail William Ruto?
William Ruto anawekwa pingu apelekwe ICC.
Let us break it down honestly. Is he willing to actually arrest William Ruto? Yes, because after the interview, one thing became very, very clear, that Matiang'I is not afraid. He defended himself courageously, he challenged critics directly, he did not flinch. Clearly, this is a man who does not fear power. But does he have the ability to actually arrest and jail William Ruto? That claim actually collapses because in Kenyan politics, it's never just about courage. It's about who funded you, who owns you, and most importantly, who you owe. And this is where one name changes everything. Uhuru Kenyatta.
Let me know. But after you finish your meeting, you'll call me.
Let us not pretend. Running for president in Kenya is expensive. Actually, it is brutally expensive.
1.5 billion wakati kampeni imeanza ni budget ya siku 3 ama siku 4 presidential campaign.
1.5 billion?
Yes. Siku 3, siku 4 wiki pesa imeisha tena tutafute nyingine tuendelee.
And Fred Matiang'I is not known to have deep political pockets. So what happens? He needs backing, he needs funding, and he needs political machine. And that machine leads straight to one Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, here's the problem. If Uhuru Kenyatta helps Matiang'I to become president, then will Matiang'I actually prosecute Uhuru? Will he touch powerful networks behind him? Most importantly, will he go after past corruption cases like the SGR, where Kenyans are on record losing billions and billions of money.
Uhuru Kenyatta's era was not perfect. Actually, it held the best scandals ever existed in the Kenyan time since we gained independence, okay?
And also there is the expressway scandal. Let's be real, he cannot.
Okay, let's clear the air here. You've mentioned President Uhuru Kenyatta several times in this interview, as some people accuse you of being
Uhuru's project.
He said it before I did. Are you Uhuru's project?
This is actually bigger than Fred Matiang'I. This is Kenya's biggest political curse. Good leaders have no ability to rise alone. They get sponsored. And once you've been sponsored, you can't rule freely. You repay debts, you protect interests, you maintain systems. This is why cartels survive every administration. Power actually rotates, but systems, they remain the same. Accountability never fully happens.
I was appointed to cabinet by Uhuru Kenyatta. I served as Uhuru's cabinet minister for 10 years.
But again, there's something even heavier. Matiang'i's past. He was the interior CS under Uhuru Kenyatta. He was at the center of power, and Kenyans remember allegations of extrajudicial actions, security crackdowns, state power used aggressively.
What do you know about Rivayala killings?
The best way to deal with this matter, in my view, is to have a public inquest so that all of us role players who were in the security sector at that point in time, we go face the inquest, and I'm ready to go before a magistrate or a judge, whoever it is going to preside over that inquest, and say what I know about it.
He has denied involvement, he has challenged critics to actually provide evidence in court, but in politics, perception is actually the reality. And that shadow will always follow him into any presidential race. The same case for someone like Kindiki. You hear him being blamed for the abductions and the killings that happened on the protest of June 24th.
Wewe kwanza uombe wa Kenya msamaha kwa kuua watoto ya Gen Z ukiwa waziri ya interior.
He may not have been the president, but he was the interior CS, and we know how that command chain happens. We know if the president wants to do any bad deeds, any dirty business, he will use the CS for interior. And this has happened in every generation, in every governance in this country. No president in this country have not executed people. Somehow, from Kenyatta to Moi, to Kibaki, to Uhuru, and now even Ruto.
Ukimaliza kuomba msamaha kwa sababu ya kutumika kama CS interior, kuteka nyara na kuua watoto ya Gen Z.
All these presidents, somehow they execute people. But do you know who they use for this dirty business? They use the CS for interior. So I end up almost sympathizing with Fred Matiang'I because he was a good guy who was used by a bad president to do some bad things which now have come back to bite him in the ass. So he finds himself in a place where he wants to do the right thing, but he was tied to people who did very bad things for this country. The question is, can Kenyans actually move past him being the executor and looking at the person who gave the orders?
The buck stops at the desk of the president. That's it. These people work for him.
It is on that point that we have to come into terms with a very painful truth that Fred Matiang'I might be the most competent leader that Kenya has, the most structured administrator, and the most decisive decision maker, but also the least likely to dismantle the system that creates presidents like William Ruto.
You Uhuru's project.
I knew that was coming for sure, but let me tell you, Jeff. Look, my brother.
So let us answer the question directly. Can Fred Matiang'I jail William Ruto? The honest answer is no. Not because he's weak, not because he's afraid, but because the system that put him in power, or the system that could put him in power, is the same system that would stop him from ever doing that. And that leaves Kenya in a very dangerous place. Because now the question is no longer who is the best leader, but is there any leader who can truly break the system? So let me hear what you have to say. Do you believe that Fred Matiang'I is capable of jailing Ruto, or would he protect the system? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and do not forget to subscribe.